Good evening, visitors, and welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Matthew Rose, and joining us today from the Australian Armoury is Corporal Jeanette McNeely. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors and students on behalf of the following school. From South Australia, Emmanuel Primary School, Novar Gardens. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Thank you, boys and girls. You may now be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Trooper Kenrick Riley. Kenrick Corey Riley was born in 1892 in Brewarrina, New South Wales, to Alec and Louisa Riley. He grew up in the area and attended Newington College at Stanmore. After leaving school, he worked on his family's property as a station hand. Following the outbreak of the First World War, Riley enlisted at Liverpool on the 27th of January 1916. After some initial training, he was allotted to the 16th Reinforcements to the 6th Light Horse Regiment. He embarked with other reinforcements from Sydney on the 3rd of May aboard the transport ship Hymettus, bound for Egypt. After arriving in Egypt, Riley spent several months training before being sent to join the 6th Light Horse Regiment in early October. At this time, the Australians were involved in patrol work. However, this changed in early 1917 when the Allied advance into Palestine came to a halt in front of the Ottoman fortress town of Gaza. The 6th Light Horse was involved in unsuccessful attempts to capture Gaza in March and April, and then spent the following months on operations to outflank it. On the 21st of August, Riley transferred to the 1st Light Car Patrol, then at Marrakeb, where he was reunited with his older brother Riley, who was involved in reconnaissance work as his unit scouted ahead of the main advance. After being hospitalised with malaria in late October, Riley missed the Battle of Beersheba. He returned to his unit in mid-November, a week after the fall of Gaza. When Ottoman forces began withdrawing from Palestine, the Australians were involved in the pursuit. The 1st Light Car Patrol took part in operations which saw Jerusalem fall to the Allies in December. Riley transferred back to the 6th Light Horse Regiment in early February 1918. Following a feint attack on Amman in late February, the 6th Light Horse Regiment was involved in operations nearby over the next month. On the 27th of March, the 6th Light Horse Regiment was involved in an attack on the railway station at Amman. During the fighting, Riley's Troop Sergeant, Lionel Lovebrand, was wounded in the head, falling in an exposed position. Without thought for his own safety, Riley ran out and recovered the wounded man. He was returning to cover with the sergeant over his shoulders when he was shot and killed instantly. He was 26 years old. Lovebrand was retrieved by others, but sadly his wound was mortal and he died shortly after. Riley and Lovebrand were buried the following day in a nearby wadi. After the war, they were reinterred in the Damascus Commonwealth War Cemetery. Kenrick Riley's name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among more than 60,000 Australians who died while serving the First World War. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Trooper Kenrick Corey Riley, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. lest we forget.
We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières, or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial, and we wish you a very good evening.